Welcome back to my Subnautica 2023 survival series. I'm Black Cat Red River, and this is episode 15. Now, last episode we started preparations for going on a journey to the Lost River that included tracking down the last fragments for the thermal plant generator and things like the prawn suit's drill arm and grappling arm and other blueprints like that. And now I'm going to make a third storage module for the sea moth so we can start carrying all the supplies needed for our excursion into the Lost River. With 3 storage compartments in there, the sea moth should be able to carry 48 inventory items just on its own, not counting what I can carry on my own. So we're going to need all the space we can get to build an outpost down in the Lost River, particularly because there's a few things you can't get down there that we're going to have to bring with us. And and so I started to pin some of the blueprint recipes or the crafting recipes just to remind myself of what it is that I want to be working towards. And I'd like to do that for some of the outpost recipes that I'm going to want to build down there as well, just so I don't forget any crucial ingredients, because it's a long way to forget something important. Now, before I forget, and because moving to the Lost River is perhaps symbolic of getting to the end game in certain respects, or at least maybe getting to the beginning of the end game, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Dan from Winnipeg, Canada, aka Axel the Sami Holy Warrior, for introducing me to Subnautica in the first place, and getting me to play. So this is just a quick tip of the hat to Dan, who also wants me to get on with starting a Subnautica Below Zero blind playthrough, because I don't know anything about that version of the game. So that may be a future playthrough that we'll do here on Black Cat Red River. But let's keep plugging away here. Let's build our outpost in the Lost River, or at least start it, hopefully today. Eventually, I'd like to get a water filter down at the new outpost in the Lost River, but I think that'll probably have to wait for a future excursion because I'll probably have to make more than one trip. Right now, the main thing is to get at least a multi-purpose room powered up and some storage built and maybe some crops in place down there just to have some basic survival elements. You can think about expanding that down the road. But today, I just want to get enough supplies down there to build the basics. And then we'll start actually doing some investigation in the Lost River itself afterwards in terms of some of the resources that are found down there. Okay, I'm going to probably be running back and forth to the Seamoth, loading it up with some basic supplies, like all 48 inventory slots in there. So maybe I will just fast forward a little bit of doing that, save a little bit of time, and until we're actually ready to go. All right, so most of that inventory stuff is out of the way, and I'm just gonna top up my food and water, and maybe grab one or two other items, and then we're ready to go.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
Okay, we're finally heading out towards the Lost River. We've got our Seamoth loaded down with gear, so hopefully we won't suffer any, fatal losses at the hands of leviathans and other creatures. I think I'm going to head to 0 point and head sort of south-southwest from there. I have sort of a vague recollection of where I'm supposed to go. There's a particular Lost River entrance that I remember liking, but I'm not 100% sure the best way to get to it. So this might end up being hit or miss here. I brought some beacons with me to set up if I find somewhere that seems to work. But I am only vaguely familiar with with how to get to the place that I like, the particular Lost River entrance. So we will have to play that by ear. Hopefully we won't have any disasters as a result of that. Okay, well this is not the place I really remember as the beginning of the descent to the entry point that I like. But nevertheless, I think I might set up one of the beacons here just so I have a reference point for where I started my descent. And we'll head down and see what we can see. This part of the blue bulb zone doesn't look particularly familiar to me, so That's not a good thing.
Detecting a titanium mass somewhere in this area. Unable to confirm whether it originated on the Aurora.
However, those distinct ghostly green colored pools are in fact signs that mark the entryways to the Lost River. Now, this isn't actually the entry point that I'm familiar with, but I'm going to place a beacon here anyway to mark where I'm going in. And between those two beacons, it should give me, a rough idea of where to go between them. All right, let's highlight these two new beacons so that they're more easily recognizable, and poke our noses into this section of the Lost River and just see if I recognize any of the pathways in. And as you can see, we're at 686 meters depth, so you absolutely have to have the Mark III depth upgrade for the Seamoth, because the Mark II only gets you I think a crush limit of 500 meters. So you definitely want that final Mark III in order to come exploring down here. Okay, so I want to go back out past the entryway where we came in and see if I can spot the more familiar entry points elsewhere. I don't know which direction it is though, if it's to the right or the left. I honestly have no idea. So I'm just going to do a quick poke around out here and see if I can see anything else. But I don't like the looks of these crab squids here. Oh, and now there's warpers. Okay, I could be in trouble here. Let's let's maybe get the hell out of here and go back into the new entry that I did find. Yeah, I don't want to start going into tight spaces with warpers around and crab squids around. Not a fan of either of those.
Local scans show a nearby opening, leading to a biome with extensive fossilized remains.
Okay, now that I see this big central chamber here, I know where I am now. So let's try to avoid that ghost Leviathan there and skirt around the edges here. Try to avoid attracting its attention. Hull integrity's dangerously low, but I don't really want to stop and attract anything's attention right here. So I'm going to keep pressing on now that I know where I'm at and how close that I am to the tranquil glade. And here we are. This is what I like to call the tranquil glade within the Lost River. mostly populated by these peaceful ghost rays that seem to feed on the luminescent tree in the center. But notice here we're already at 875 meters depth, close to our sea moth's limit. So this is one of the reasons that I want to build an outpost right here in this tranquil glade. The other reason is because there's volcanic fissures or heat fissures that can be tapped into with the thermal plant generator to generate power. So yeah, this is where I was trying to reach. I just didn't find the entryway I was familiar with. But let's see if we can set up a basic room and power it up. Now, I probably forgot some crucial resources for this outpost, but let's see if we can at least, I know we can at least get a multi-purpose room powered up, that we can get a thermal plant generator and at least one power transmitter. Should be able to create a fabricator and some storage areas, storage space. Down the road, I'd like to build a moon pool here that is above the crush depth of the sea moth. But for now, just having a storage facility with breathable air and some food crops, that's really all we need to get going for the moment. Now, ideally, I would like to build thermal plants on a foundation closer to the actual heat vent, so it will have a more efficient location, because it generates power quicker if it's closer to these vents. But we can always move it later. So for now, let's just get some power going and get it attached to our multi-purpose room.
restored. All primary systems online. Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, we've got power in the Lost River. Very nice. Now, with that built, what do we need? We absolutely need a little bit of storage. We need a fabricator. And we need food crops. But that makes me realize I think I forgot to bring a single bulbo seed with me to plant. So we actually won't have any agriculture down here. So that's a big, a somewhat big mistake. If I didn't bring enough food with me, I could be in trouble. But in any case, I'm not going to want to stay too long because of that. I'm going to need to go back to the surface for more supplies, including bulbo seeds. I probably forgot some other ingredients as well that I'm just not thinking about right now. And I also do need to bring back probably a fair bit of titanium as well. Because I don't have much of that left. So there's a few things to get back in the surface to bring down here in order to become truly self-sufficient down here.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Okay, so I'm going to head back to my home base on the surface, partly because I left certain crucial ingredients up there. And I'm going to try to go back through the way that I should have come. Unfortunately, I don't have more beacons with me. I may have to bring more and then find the proper way in by going out from once I'm back in again in the future, if that makes any sense, because I'm not overly familiar with it. But yeah, this is the way I usually I came in previously with previous games, hugging along the right side here, and rarely would I ever encounter anything once I'm in this part, right, that posed too much of a threat or that you couldn't sneak past. So I'm hoping to kind of reverse engineer things and figure out the proper way in by going out. But let's see if that is as easy as it should be. Okay, that did not go as planned. I couldn't find my way out. I couldn't find an opening to the surface, and there were not just one, but two warpers, and one of them expelled me from the sea moth temporarily. So I actually thought I was going to die there. But I did eventually find my way out, and now I've got home in my sights. So I'm just going to go off camera for a minute, and I will get back. I'll meet you back at the home base. Okay, see you shortly. Okay, so here we are back at the surface base, safe and sound, amazingly. I thought I was doomed there. But we did have a successful mission establishing the preliminary outpost in the Lost River in the Tranquil Glade. So this is probably a good place to wrap things up for this episode. And yeah, I will see you next time. Until then, safe travels.